having heard that Donald Trump about 2 hours ago or an hour and a half ago announced that he will not be going on Twitter, to me, that was the biggest part of the deal. That's what made Twitter so valuable compared to the old days, because Donald Trump was going to come back. And I remember just my own experience in losing 50,000 followers when Trump, all the rest of it. But everybody, lost 100,000, 150,000.
Why do you think he said it?
Because he owns Truth Social.
Because he owns Truth Social. Because he's
and
saying
also maybe he
it won't be tweeting, it'll be truthing. And he's gonna, I don't know, knowing him for so many years, I think he'll change his mind in 10 minutes.
He will.
But if he indeed sticks with this and stays off new Twitter won't be worth as much as I thought it would be.
Well, who cares though? Because many people believe if Trump hadn't been on Twitter so much, he would have been a little more of an effective president.
That is true. That is true. I think that this is bad news for Truth Social, because he's not going to be able to help himself.
Okay, so that is the 5 over at Fox responding to the big news of yesterday that happened like seemingly moments after the damage report ended on Monday, was that we've been talking about the speculation that Twitter might be sold to Elon Musk, the richest idiot in the world. And indeed it was, and he did buy it for $44 billion. Yes, for $44 billion. You can own wholly Twitter and make it your own private thing. You arguably could also do more good in the world than like everyone else in the last century combined. So it's, you do one of those two things with your $44 billion. You either become the greatest hero in the world in this millennia, or you lash out because a kid was tracking your flights on Twitter or whatever, or Ken Klippenstein made fun of you, and so you spend all that money on Twitter. So anyway, that's what he did. And we're gonna get into Fox's reaction to this, which is a lot less focused on Elon Musk than you might think. A lot of it is about Trump, but this has now happened. Twitter is now owned by Elon Musk. What do you make of it?
I realize that you're not a good liberal unless you pretend that this is the same as Hitler invading Poland. But for me,
no, it's worse.
The guy put up a ton of his own actual money. He put his money where his mouth is. He actually borrowed a bunch of money against his own stock in Tesla, which is his baby. And so all that means to me is that he's invested in not burning this to the ground, because he would lose money. He'd lose his ass on this if he did that. So I don't think I'm putting money on not much changing about Twitter. I just don't, it's not in his interest to do this, right? Like the only way he could have secured the loans that he did in order to complete this purchase was, again, putting up his own stock in Tesla, which tells me there's real money of his involved, which tells me he is not invested in doing something completely stupid and irrational here. So I don't know why I should care about this, why this is better than a bunch of private equity or hedge funds owning this and not just Elon. They all have the exact same incentives, which is make this thing profitable, keep people on it, keep people entertained by it. So I don't really care.
Yeah, I agree with you on some parts of that and not on others. I think that they have, in theory, some of the same financial incentives. I think that once you inject the fact that Elon Musk is one of the most immature, cringy, try-hard humans on the face of the earth, that's an added layer of personal incentives that were absent in Twitter before because it was owned by so many different people. Yeah, and like I guess he certainly does seem to care about money. Arguably, he wouldn't care if he lost every single dollar here because he'd still be the wealthiest person in the world. So who knows? But I agree, and I honestly think that largely not that much probably will change. Although I would argue that that is in some ways a bad thing because Twitter is a place that has desperately needed some change. I do think that you're going to have more tolerance of open white supremacy, violent threats, misogyny, organized campaigns to run people of color off of Twitter, more open misinformation that'll get people killed, from things like the pandemic. There will be some stuff like that. And Trump, I agree with Fox, will probably come back. But I don't think that Twitter is gonna look wholly different than it did a couple of years ago. For one reason might be Elon Musk is a guy who took over Tesla. and then got bored with it and did a new thing in space, and then got bored with it and did a flamethrower, and then he was gonna do hyperloops, but then he wasn't, and then he wanted to dig holes in the ground, and then he was gonna make a submarine for kids trapped in a cave, and then he was gonna make ventilators, and then he's gonna make a Starlink, and then he's gonna put chips in your head, and now it's Twitter, and next it'll be like, because everybody thinks, oh, he's just so diverse. No, he just gets really bored and moves on to things. Like, he could actually do stuff at Tesla. He doesn't care to. There's every reason to believe he's gonna get bored with Twitter in a couple of weeks. So maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. And along the way, there might be more ads placed on Twitter. Your data might be sold to massive data brokers. If they are pursuing profitability, there are some awful ways he can do it. But anyway, what do you think of that?
Yeah, again, here's the dirty secret about Twitter to people like who are like me, and I admit I'm addicted to Twitter. I'm obsessed with Twitter. It's my favorite social media platform by far. It's how I like to spend my day when I'm not working. But the dirty secret is that like nobody's on Twitter as compared to things like Facebook and Instagram, right? Like that's the thing. Like Twitter is only popular in so much as mass media integrates what people do on Twitter on mass media. But the amount of people that are actually on this thing is not that huge. It just feels influential because influential people use it as the platform of choice to spread their whatever. Again, they could do stuff like go to a subscription model. They could do all kinds of different things to try to up their profit margins. But again, I don't think fundamentally anything is going to change about Twitter. And I think we overrate the importance of Twitter. Again, it's only important in so much as Donald Trump tweets from it. They put it on MSNBC. They put it on Saturday Night Live. They might put it on SportsCenter. They might put it on Fox News. And then it reaches a wider audience. But Twitter in and of itself is not this mass thing of communication. There's not that many people on Twitter.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Look, obviously, our fields are sort of overrepresented in it. I will say, like, I have mixed feelings about Twitter historically. Like, there are things that I like about it. Honestly, when we're like, when Game of Thrones was really big and people were talking about Game of Thrones there, I liked it. When people are doing live commentary on debates and stuff, I kind of like that. For the most part, day to day though, I'm on it. There's some people I follow. I occasionally see like a picture of, like a red panda or something I like. But yeah, honestly, if I could just ball it up and throw it in the sun, I probably would do that, honestly. As long as it's not exactly. As long as it's not in the sun, though, I'm sort of obligated by my career to be involved in it.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.